Hey guys, my name is Ryan. We've got a special treat for you. A lot of people don't really know much about the Plek machine. So we've got Derek, who owns Fretset. Fretset's here at Music Junction in Camberwell and in Carlton. I just want to talk to you, Derek, about the Plek, and because I think it's an amazing machine, but I don't think a lot of people know much about it. I, I, I've heard, the Plek is amazing, it can do everything, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think, a Plek machine with a good operator is what it's all about, I guess. So for those of you who don't know, you've worked there.
Maton Guitars. I was the repairer at Maton Guitars for 6 or 7 years. Before that I was at Collings Guitars in Texas for about 3.5, 4 years. Before that I studied at Roberto Venn and also with Gerard Gillet up in Sydney.
Yeah, right. Great places to work at. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown to why maybe we would need a Plek?
A Plek's it's a tool, so I think that's one thing people maybe lose sight of, is that it's just a tool. It's a really, really good tool. Obviously it's a large tool and expensive tool, but it really at the end of the day is just a tool. And like any tool, depends on how it's used.
Right.
So if you are good at it and has done this for a while, or even if you're good at it and haven't done it for a while, it's all in how you use it.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't solve all the problems of the world,
Sure.
but what it does do is it can get a guitar playing as good as it can.
Yeah, which solves all the problems. Okay, cool. So we're going to get some footage of the Plek machine in action, and we'll get you, if you can, to run us through all that stuff. So what's this guitar doing in there right now?
So this guitar comes in, it's a well-known player, so he plays with some pretty high-profile people, and he loves this guitar. He's told me he's going to get buried with this guitar, and he wants it to be as good as it can be. So it was time for it to get a refret. So we've put the new frets in, and now we're going to Plek it.
So here's a question for you.
Sure.
Is the Plek machine only for professionals, or can you have a beginner guitar player want to get his guitar Pleked?
Sure. I find most of my customers are either professionals or very serious amateur players.
Right.
And that's because they've been playing for a while, and they maybe have an idea of what their guitar could be, but haven't been able to get it there. So really they end up coming to me because they know it can be better.
Right, okay. So in a nutshell, I know we've talked about how the Plek is a tool. What kind of tool is it? Like, what would it improve for those who don't really know what a Plek machine does?
Sure, it improves the playability.
Okay.
That's really what it all comes down to. There are side benefits in terms of intonation and so on, but really the key is playability.
Sure. So
when you're dealing with the very pointy end of things, and this is why most of the customers are professionals or serious amateurs, it's getting it just that little bit better, because a lot of it with most guitars can be done in a broad way, decent, like good. This is going from good to very good to excellent, sort of thing. That's really what it's good at.
Right.
And it does that because it can deal with inconsistencies in fret heights and inconsistencies in neck shapes and twists and bumps and those sorts of things, which it's harder to deal with hand tools, and I did it for a long time with hand tools, so I understand where this is, where you get the benefits of using a machine like this, because it can take into account those things and get it right the first time rather than going back and forth and back and forth, trying to go, okay, I can push it a little bit more here, a little bit less here. You can do that on the screen here.
Oh, wow. Okay. You've Pleked 3 or 4 of my guitars?
I'm not sure, but yeah, that sounds a few.
Yeah, so how I found Derek was I had a vintage 335 that was badly in need of a fret job. And, you know, with any vintage guitar, you got to be extra careful, I think. So I found that you had a Plek machine, and I knew about you because, you know, like you worked at Collins and you were head of repairs at Mayton. And I have to say, when I got that guitar back, it was like, you know, night and day. And you brought that guitar back to life. And since then, I've brought some really challenging ones to you as well. That you've actually kind of rescued guitars that I, you know, kept because of its value, but not necessarily played. So yeah, I think if you want to know more, get in touch with Derek, and he'll be able to, you know, like he'll be able to run you through why you might need a Plek, or if you don't need a Plek, or you know just need it scanned or whatever. But Derek can be found at on Facebook.
Yes.
Your
Facebook, Instagram. I can be found here at Music Junction most Mondays, and up in Kyneton the rest of the time.
Yeah, and we'll leave a link in the bottom of the screen with all your, you know, all your details, your phone number, if you want to give Derek a call. Thank you so much again, man, for having a chat. And I'm Ryan, Derek at Fretset. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.